Oh, hi everybody. Hi stream. If you're in chat, hello. I will be looking at chat, but let me know how my audio is going as usual. Today we've got SticQeno. He is a content creator from the US, and I will let him introduce himself.
What's going on, y'all? My name's Keno. I go by the name Keno. My name's Shaquan Stanley. I'm an actor. I'm a musician. And yeah, I create content on Twitch. I'm a Minecraft creator.
Cool. Tell us about what handle people can find you on, or what the channel kind of handles are, the games you play, and whether you focus on any niche areas.
For sure. So all of my handles are Keno. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everything. STICQENO. All
Yeah,
Keno.
it's over.
I'm
We've got your name underneath your camera view in case people are looking for the handle. It's
oh
over there.
word.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I
We're
mainly play Minecraft.
yeah.
Um, Variety here and there. We dip into it, but it's mainly Minecraft.
Cool. I was gonna say before we even jump to the next question, I just want to like everyone to appreciate your room because there's so much eye candy going on.
Yeah, it's a lot. Can be a little much.
I don't think it's a lot. It's like the more is more
Maybe.
saying. Like, can you give us like a quick like overview? You've got the lovely posters and then the
So yeah, I
shoes.
got you. I got you. So we have the posters that kind of encompasses the room. Um, Building a PC this weekend actually.
Hmm.
I've been saving up for a while. My community just came through, and yeah, it's my first PC build ever. So that's everything. I like to show everybody, that like, hey, you've donated and you've subbed, and this is what it is. Yeah, my shoes in the background. I love sneakers. Pops because pops are dope. All my collectibles. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot statue, Spider-Man PS4 statue, Last of Us 2 statue, ton of my video games, Keyblade, um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is a legit amazing collection.
Thanks.
So, you mentioned you play things like Minecraft and Variety.
Mhm.
I'd be really curious to know, especially from the Variety view, how do you pick the kind of games you play for your content? Do you do any kind of research? Do you look at other streamers? Do you go by what your community says? What's that process look like for you?
So the main thing for me is I'm really interested in what my community likes. Um, when I started streaming, I played like through all the Kingdom Hearts video games and Red Dead Redemption 2, like the day Red Dead 2 came out. And slowly through that, I just kind of accumulated a Nintendo following, and that works because I love Nintendo. Um, so yeah, playing Smash Bros is kind of a no-brainer because I can play, with my community. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Same thing with Pokemon. We'll trade Pokemon, and it's just it's I just feel like for the type of person that I am, like super friendly and outgoing. That's what Nintendo is. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
to say that like PlayStation or Xbox isn't that, but that's kind of what Nintendo like specializes in. Like the whole like family, like the family friendly and the family oriented, excuse me. And yeah, I feel like that's what I am.
Hmm.
So it just kind of makes sense that my community is the same. Um, so that's the first thing. I have seen, what other streamers are doing and what's working, but just because someone else is doing something doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to work for you. But sometimes it does, right? Sometimes it does. But definitely looking at what my community wants, not because there have been times where I've listened and maybe I've over listened and
Hmm.
it's kind of taken a toll on me. So I think it's about finding like the nice balance, you know.
Hmm. And just as a follow up, when you say you over listened, is it did it end up with a the kind of poor experience for you? Did you not enjoy the game that you ended up doing because of that?
Yeah, I think it gets to a point where it's like it's just sometimes I think, you know, it's not that I didn't enjoy the game,
Hmm.
but I think too much of anything can be bad,
Hmm.
if you would. So if you're always playing with viewers, you're gonna get burnt out from playing with viewers. If you're always just playing, a certain game mode, you're gonna get burnt out from doing that. So that's why I think it's important again. So it's like, hey, like we want this, that, and the third. Okay, let's plan for this one week. and this the next, and maybe next month we can do this. Um, so I think doing it in intervals like that, for me, right? For me, because there are some people who just listen to whatever the community's saying and they just chug 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 chug, and that works for them. But I still want to be able to have a say in the things that I'm doing. I don't ever want to feel like I don't want to say that I'm being controlled, but I want to have fun, right? I
Yeah.
want I want to have fun. So if everyone's having fun doing something and I'm not having fun doing it, I'm going to take that into account, right?
Yeah. I think that that's just generally good advice. Like you need to I feel like from the theme I've had from talking to different people is just like you need to make sure you prioritize kind of not necessarily like you as a self-centered thing, but you as the person who's bringing the energy, the one who's doing the entertaining. You need to
Yeah.
make sure you're entertained or having fun first, and then that way you can project that energy out better.
Exactly, because there have been times where it's like, hey, all right, we're doing this, and I'm clearly drained. Because with me, it's like I'm either like very like my smile is all the way up, or I'm just like, all right, hey, what's up, guys? And you can tell when the energy is different, right?
Mm,
That's not something you can fake, you know. Um, so yes,
yeah,
yes,
cool. You mentioned before that that was something that you've actually thought of when you first started streaming. And this doesn't have to apply to just streaming, but I'm curious to know how long have you been a content creator for? Whether this is in regards to your work as an actor or as a musician. Like how long have you been doing each of your journeys, or one whole journey if you want to view it from that
yeah.
point?
So I've been making music the longest. I've been doing that since I was 15. And then with acting, I've been doing that since I was 16. And then content creation, I'm still kind of a baby in. I started creating content. Well, I didn't start creating content, but I started streaming on Twitch October 26th, 2018, the day Red Dead Redemption 2 came out.
That's
So
Did you
yeah,
also stream Red Dead Redemption 2 on that first day?
100%.
Oh, okay, okay. That's
Yeah,
that's that's a nice way to launch the game. Like guys,
100%. Yeah.
SticQeno's here. We're good. So with it's been a couple years now.
hmm
For anybody that's looking to get started, how did you come to like like becoming a streamer? How did you get into that?
So I started streaming in 2018, but I wanted to start streaming in around 2015, 2016. Um, but it's weird because, I've gone on like these wild auditions. I haven't had like a big break, but I've worked with Facebook, I've done independent films, I'm eligible to be part of the Actors Union SAG. Um, but with streaming, I don't it was just different. Something just wasn't allowing me to start, and I usually jump head in like first like with like, everything, but I just wasn't able to start. So that's the first thing. If you're thinking about it, just do it. Just really do it, because I really enjoy it. The money aside, and notoriety. It's just really nice to be able to talk to people. Um and I can tell that, not even that I can tell, but I know for a fact I've impacted uh, people,
Hmm.
and that's just what means a lot to me. So that is kind of how I got into it, just because I've always loved video games, and I would be like, hey, like this would be cool to give it a shot, give it a shot. Mind you, this is before streaming like popped off, before the ninjas, the Tim the Tap Mans, and before all of this. I just wanted to be like, hey, I just kind of want to play, and let's see what comes from it.
Yeah. And I think that that really speaks to this whole idea of, you know, there isn't much to the barrier to entry isn't too high. It's more like the growth if you're looking to turn this into a full-time or even almost full-time thing. That's the challenge area. But I think getting started,
Yeah,
it's just like just turn on
just
camera.
go.
Hi.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe there's like a psychological barrier there for people, but I think, not everybody's a ninja, and there's a lot of content creators out there who are kind of like in the similar boat where they're just like, cool, I'm here.
yeah.
Start at this point.
Yeah, and I think like that's fine too, right? Because like there are different levels in life for everything. You know, if you go into a Nike store, right? There's a store manager, there's an assistant manager, there's a key holder, there is, you know, a part-time worker, there's full-time worker, there's seasonal workers. There's different levels for everything, and a lot of people are happy in those positions. There are some people who are just, hey, I just want to work part-time. Hey, you know, I want to be the CEO of Nike. And it's the same thing with streaming. I think, you know, there are honestly some people who just want to record their gameplay and play with their friends. And I think that's super cool as well. There's a lot of respect in that, um, because you know obviously everything is so like money driven nowadays. So yeah,
Hmm. I think even though it is money driven, I think it's good to see more people where like you, or I would describe you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I describe you more community driven, more community first. That's the kind of vibe you're going for, and I think that's another really important way to view, you know, how you actually like. It's not just you as a streamer anymore. It's you plus your community. Would you say that that's
mm-hmm.
kind of the vibe for you as well?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just always asking. I'm like, hey, like, you know, would you be interested in seeing role play? Would you be interested in, you know, this happening? Would you be interested in, you know, X, Y, and Z? Um, because I've done like the other option, right? Where you're just
Mm.
kind of, I don't want to say like you're just like playing for you, right? But it's not as fulfilling for me at least, right? For me. So, yeah, when because and people always like being part of something, you know
Mm.
what I'm saying, like that's the whole point of a community, you know. um so yeah, to be able to be a vital part of that, I think is super dope.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for people who aren't in or aren't really on Twitch or watching Twitch, and you're trying to get the point of it across. I think that's one of the first really beautiful points to get across to them, where it's just like, yeah, there's people on camera, but they've got like this like crew of people behind them who are, you know, supporting them. That's where the magic happens. And that's how I try to also let people know like that's what Twitch for me is about. um
Yeah,
and then there's also the big guys, but the big guys, they've got the PR, they've got the exposure and everything. But
yeah,
for the majority of people who are doing content creation, not even on Twitch, like on any platform, I think that's where the magic really shines.
I agree.
Now that you've been at this for a while, and going back to when you first started, what do you think for you was the biggest challenge to overcome? Think about it. Think about
Biggest challenge, yeah, the biggest challenge for me to overcome is that's actually a really good question,
it.
because I don't challenges are still happening,
Mm.
you know. Just because I've been doing it, you know, going on 3 years now, doesn't mean I'm not, you know, faced with challenges, right? There's still the whole like numbers game,
Mm.
because you know, one man, once you start getting like paid for something, then you just have that thing in your head. Am I doing something wrong? And like, why did I go down so much? Oh, like now we're up this month. I must be doing something great. So that in itself is a challenge. For
Mm.
that's just kind of how I look at it. You know, just kind of calming like my mental down. You know, making my community better, having better Discord events. You know, so there's so many different challenges. But my biggest challenge with as much as I do is not comparing myself to one another.
Mm.
Yeah, not comparing
That's
myself.
the whole
How to think
imposter
about it.
syndrome and
How to think about
like,
it. Yeah.
yeah,
How to think about it. Yeah.
that's really real. I think one of the really real platforms that happens on a lot is like Instagram, where even if you're not a content creator on there and you're scrolling through, then it becomes really real. Like, okay, cool, I don't look like that, I don't look like that, my life doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
How is that an ongoing challenge, or and what kind of strategies have you been utilizing to, you know, tackle that particular challenge for yourself?
That yeah, is it ongoing? It's my entire life, right? Because I'm a very competitive person. So like when I was young and you know I played football, I'm like, you know, like why am I was a running back.
Mm.
Why am I not getting the ball that much? Like, is this running back? But is it like, are they better than me? And I think that it's a part. It it's part of what kind of makes me drive like
Hmm.
so much. Not drive so much, but like why my drive is so high. Um, how do I combat it? I just have to remind myself that everyone, not that everyone is a liar, but everyone is always like only showing like their best part, which is why I try to be super authentic to my community. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just kind of what it is. Even not even just with my community, but like with the things that I post. Like like I took an L here, but hey, we got this. And there's always like a bright side to something. Um, so that's how I work with that. But how do I, kind of work on myself in dealing with that? Man, I just really believe I'm super creative. I believe I'm the most creative person I know, regardless of who you put me next to. And you know, having that faith in myself, I have to keep that, because if I don't, then I'm just kind of gonna be lost in the abyss, right? There's competition in everything, even amongst your friends. Um, and not in a cocky way, but I just
Hmm.
really believe in my talents, which is why I do so much, right? Which is why I'm taking on so much, and working on stand up guy, and streaming and releasing music projects and doing all these great things, because I believe that the community is so much more.
Yeah, that's really great to hear, right? Like you're able to have that confidence in yourself, and I think that again, that seems like an ongoing challenge for any aspect of anybody's lives. And
Yeah.
I think some people will be like, "But how? How do I do this thing?" I think the reminder part you mentioned is really good because I don't know if you're thinking along the same lines as me, but even on days where you're not necessarily feeling like low confidence, maybe you still need to keep boosting that confidence even on like good days where it's just like, yep, keep
Hmm.
keep reminding. And I think
Yeah.
that's a consistency thing.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah, I mean, it's super cliche, but it's true. If you don't believe in you, then if you don't believe in you, how do you expect other people to believe in you? It's just not gonna work, right?
Hmm.
So that's why even the people that come into my community, that's something that I really push, and I tell them that that they're loved, and I love them, and I believe in them, and they're great, because we don't hear that, and sometimes we hear it, but like people don't mean it. You know what I'm saying? Because anyone can be great. So honestly, anyone can be great. Because in the grand scheme of things, I want to say numbers don't matter, but obviously they do. But if we take all these things away and we really line everybody up, by each other, I think you'll be able to see, without comparing yourself, you'll be able to see how great you actually are.
That's you pointing
Thanks.
at the camera. Believe in yourself. I think yeah, that again, we that's definitely something that I think in a lot of societies you're not it's not something that gets pushed because it gets viewed as too egocentric or it gets seen as too selfish. But I
Hmm.
think, you need to have like a minimum amount of self confidence and self love to just push yourself forward through life. So
100%. Yeah.
that's the kind of message I'm getting from what you've been saying so
Yeah.
far. Yeah. That's you. Self love. So that's challenges. In terms of and again, you mentioned numbers, right? And as much as we don't want to necessarily like be too hyper focused on them, I think just from the view of let's say growing your community and just growing your I guess like repertoire and how you're building your even branding as a creator. What kind of strategies have you looked at to grow your stream or build your community or just your whole your whole branding and everything around that? What's that been looking like in terms of strategy?
So in terms of growing the brand and growing stream, I know you hear this all the time, different platforms. It's because everyone there are you could be streaming Minecraft. You could be You can have an afro with a bandana on, and you can be streaming Minecraft 4 times a week, and that's all you're doing. But if you're not, chopping up your content in a creative way and getting it seen somewhere else, it's just the again back to the whole competition, which is why we compare ourselves. There's just the competition is so fierce. But that's something that I've done. Again, acting. I've used TikTok and amassed a following there, which is super cool. I'm super grateful. I've kind of used the same tactics on just chatting on Twitch, and yeah, that's just kind of really it, honestly. That's just, how I'm going about building it. Obviously, you want to continue to make friends and grow and expand as well.
Hmm. Follow-up question about TikTok. Are you putting your stream content on there, or is that slightly different content? Then you also kind of point people to your Twitch. What's that particular dynamic look like?
So it's both. So it's both.
Hmm.
So I believe on any platform, like any like platform that's not like your main platform should still have original content. I mean, it can even be old content that you chop up, but if that piece of content hasn't been seen, then it's still a new piece of content. Um, but no, I would do skits. I would do like gaming skits, and lead that to Twitch.
Hmm. Cool. That's really good to
Mhm.
know because I think a lot of people, in terms of like, yes, repurpose, but I think you've got a really good point there about like, but add to it, like put
Yeah.
something like a different spin on it because I think the other thing to note about other platforms is that they kind of have their own they have their own niches, they have their own language, and they have their own. This is cliche, but they have their own trends and things. So I think there's some of those aspects to cater to as well, to make sure you're actually like hitting the right notes for those
Yes.
platforms. Would you say that's definitely? Would you agree with that idea for like all those other
Yeah,
platforms as well?
100%. Because I don't want to say like there are so many people that are doing this, but like I do see it a lot, and I'm someone that used to do it as well. But it's just like if you're just posting clips, like it's becoming a dump. Like this new
Mm,
profile on this new platform is just becoming a dump um for your clips, that no one was interested on this platform. So why are they going to care over here? But if you work to make something new that people care about on this new platform and they like you for what you're doing on this new platform, then they can come see what you were doing on your original platform, and then care about it. So I mean, it's
mm.
not always guaranteed, obviously, but yeah,
Yeah, I think then that also comes down to like curation, because putting all the clips on there is not necessarily going to be helpful, but you need to curate or remix or like retweak because I think that's where you can recreate it into something new.
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
So we're almost done with our interview. So sad.
Word.
I feel like we
Okay.
could. I feel like we have a lot. I have a lot of follow up questions, but I think we won't have time for that. But of course, once we finish, everyone can go follow you and check out more of your stuff, so they can go join your community and ask you questions.
Word.
But I think hopefully this question isn't too tricky because it's going to be similar to the challenges one,
Okay.
and it's geared for people wanting to go full time. But I think even for people just wanting to get started or people who are just starting out and they're in the middle of it right now, what's like the one piece of advice, like the one really key thing you'd want people to know before they even like think about going full time or as they're starting? Like, what's the one thing you wish like they really, really should have like on their plate as a piece of advice that they should stick to?
Do you believe you can sustain this level of success for another 5 years? I know it sounds like crazy. With like how does anyone know that? I mean, you know what? Not even five. Do you believe you can sustain this level of success next year? Right? Because in 2019, nobody thought that 2020 was going to hit it the way it did. Um, and so many people lost their jobs. So many people like dropped in sub counts, rightfully so, right? Because we had a pandemic, we still
Mm.
do. And you know is that something you're ready for, right? Because that happens, but you can bounce back. But if that does happen, are you mentally ready? um yeah, I mean, like, just with everything that I do, like I'm still not full time. A lot of my energy is going into working on the show, but as far as streaming, I'm not full time streaming. No,
Hmm.
not at all. And not to say that I don't want to be, because I would love to, but it's just not time right now.
Hmm.
You know, it's just not time. So yeah.
Hmm. And it sounds like you've asked yourself that question, which is why you haven't necessarily gone full time yourself.
Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because I think I think what it is, this is just from my own experience, right? You got all your stuff.
Hmm.
Got my mic, got my lights, laptop. I'm ready to be a streamer. And it's not like, hey, you just followed me and they're gonna be here every day for every stream. It's not that. It could simply be they're opening up Twitch because they were doing dishes that one random day in July, and you'll never see them again. You know,
Hmm.
and it takes a lot to build a community. Going on 3 years, I've learned so much, and I'm still learning, and I'm just super grateful. And I want to continue to learn so I can continue to make better content and eventually get to streaming full time and making content full time.
Hmm. So I think like the big takeaway there is like there's a reality check to do if you are wanting to go full time or even do like a pretty serious part-time commitment, I'd say, because even in a part-time commitment you still need to build out your schedule. You still need to plan
Hmm.
it around any other full-time or part-time work you're doing. So I think yes, you can have just the lights, the camera, and everything and turn it all on, but there's that just that I feel like that's a really important question just to ask. And it's not even like I still think that's a piece of advice, even though it's a question. But I think
Hmm.
there. Would you say like maybe not enough people ask themselves that question, or maybe more people need to like regularly ask themselves that question, even if they're 3 years into their 5 year plan or whatever long term view they have.
I don't know if it's just me, right? But it's man, we can get an earthquake right now here
Hmm.
where I'm at, and all my stuff is just broken, all my PC stuff gone, and I have to start all over again. Anyone can fall off. You think about your favorite rapper, your favorite singer. Anyone can fall off.
Hmm.
Anyone can fall off, especially in a society where everything is just every virality it happens to everyone now. It's
Hmm.
not a special thing. You go back 10 years, and the videos and the moments that went viral, we still remember to this day. That's personally how I feel.
Hmm.
But everything now that's going viral, it's here today and it's gone tomorrow.
Hmm.
And I'm a big believer in the quicker you get something, the quicker you lose it. That's
Hmm.
just what I believe. So if it's taking me, 3 years to get over a certain mark in streaming, and to, not be close to partnership, that's fine because I'm still learning. And I know I'm not gonna let myself down because that's just the level of my confidence. Um, but yeah, I definitely think people should ask themselves that question more if they aren't, right? Because I don't know what folks are
Hmm.
doing. But if they aren't, I definitely think it's a conversation that needs to be had, because it's the same thing with acting and it's the same thing with music. I'm gonna be a full time actor, right? And I've done that, and I'm getting work, right? But you don't always get paid for your work. And that's the
Hmm.
thing, because you can be a full time streamer, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get paid. You can be a full time musician, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get paid. So it takes a long time to build up that audience that
Hmm.
that wants to support you. So yeah.
Yeah. Great piece of advice. I love it. So, I think as we wrap up now, for anybody that wants to check out your work, check out what you're working on, tell us about what any big projects you have right now, and again, where they can find you on Twitch or on social media.
Word. So again, yeah, my name is Jaquan Stanley. I'm an actor, content creator. I go by the name SticKeno. You can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at SticKeno. Right, it's all right there. Um, the biggest project that we are working on, the community. This is our logo. We are working on Stand Up Guy. It is an upcoming series that we're doing. It takes place in Minecraft. We wrote the script, directed it, produced it, edited it, did the music. Everything is original, and it's coming out later this year. So the teaser trailer is on YouTube. I think we're coming up on 600 views, which is pretty dope. So we're super excited about that. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and yeah.
Yeah, guys, go check him out. Thank you so much for joining us for this interview. It's been really great to hear about your journey, about even your experience as an actor and a musician, and to, you know, get your advice out there to people who are really going to get benefit from that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. See ya. All
Take care.
right. Bye.